Let's go to Shimon Prokupecz, who is outside the courthouse in Miami and can give us the latest on-the-ground view of the security situation. Shimon, what are you seeing?
So, Jake, we're standing on the corner where everyone here, from law enforcement to some of the supporters, have now gathered as they get ready for the former president to drive this way and enter the courthouse. We expect this to happen at any minute. As you can see now, some of the highway patrol, the motorcycles are here. This was not here earlier. And then on the other side, we have the street closed as well. As everyone here at this point is just waiting. I'm trying to look and see if I could see the motorcade. At some point, drive up this block. The SUVs are coming up this block. And Jake, what's going to happen is he's going to make a left here and head right into the courthouse here. You could see in our shot here, there are some officers, Secret Service agents, and U.S. Marshals. That is where we believe he's going to drive down and into that building where he will begin the process of being placed under arrest and then the arraignment. But at any point now, we should see him, Jake, drive by. We can hear the sirens as they are approaching here and about to make this turn here where law enforcement, as you can see behind me, Jake, has shut the street down. And we see some of the law enforcement here now, Jake, driving in. You could see this, and there is here is the motorcade now, Jake.
And Shimon, describe the crowd as you can discern their mood and their actions. From our view, thousands of miles away, it looks like a relatively peaceful crowd.
Yeah, it is a relatively. It's been peaceful, Jake. You're right, absolutely right. It's a peaceful crowd.
Well, we just saw
and
something
here you can
going
see
on
some
there.
Secret
Let's
Service
put the camera.
agents.
There it
Yeah.
is. Okay, the police are pushing away somebody who is dressed kind of like as a cartoon prisoner with a sign that says "Lock him up." But he got on the street, I think, was the issue there, and the police came and pushed him aside. Although it didn't look like a tremendously violent confrontation. Sorry, Shimon, go ahead.
Yeah, because what's happened here is people have been able to just stand here, right? We've been talking about the barricades, there not being any of those metal barricades to people to keep people from running into the street. Well, that's exactly what happened here. People can run freely. All we have really are the officers who are standing around trying to keep people back. But now the former president, Donald Trump, is inside the federal building where he will be placed under arrest, Jake, where he will be taken in, processed, as we've been talking about, the fingerprinting, the other things that they do in the process. And so now we await for his appearance, Jake.
All right, Shimon Prokupecz, thank you so much. And as we watch these images, let's chat with my panel here. And Dana Bash, I mean, we should just take a moment here. This is a historic day, and not in the good sense. This is the second time a former president, Donald John Trump, has been arrested and arraigned. The first time it's on federal charges.
All of the swirling politics, all of the back and forth, the defend him, not defend him, you're exactly right. That is all maybe for this moment important to put aside and to mark the history, that this is something that they will be learning about in history books for a very, very long time, forever. And as you said, and not in a good way. Not in a good way.
Jamie Gangel, truly an ugly moment, given the seriousness of the offenses that Donald Trump is accused of committing, the gravity of the charges, the evidence arraigned, the evidence in the indictment, the evidence allayed against him. And if you talk to Republicans who are not in the thrall of MAGA, the former Attorney General Bill Barr, who's very supportive of Trump under many accusations, but not in this one, talking about the gravity of these allegations. Bill Barr saying if half of what's in the indictment is true, it's horrible for Donald Trump. Obviously a Republican presidential rival, but Chris Christie, also a former ally of Trump and a former U.S. attorney, talking about how Donald Trump brought this all on himself. It is, in a lot of ways, I mean, it's good to have a system of government where no one is above the law, but in a lot of ways, this is a sad moment in American history.
Absolutely. To quote Bill Barr, he said, if even half of it is true, he's toast. That is someone who used to be a loyal ally of Trump's. You know, to Dana's point, yes, this is historic, and to your point, sad, but I think we also have to talk about the big picture context. this is not the only thing that Donald Trump is facing. We had the charges in New York, that arrest and arraignment 2 months ago. We have the special counsels also investigating him for January 6th. We, I think, expect something to happen in Georgia, the Fulton County investigation, maybe in August. I was struck by two things today. One is that the surreal part is we've done this before. This is now oddly normal for us. We have seen Donald Trump taken in, arrested, and arraigned. The other thing to me was the difference in security between Florida and New York. In New York, they locked down Lower Manhattan. Luckily, the crowds don't seem to be thousands and seem to be pretty well behaved. But, considering what we were hearing last night, the security seems, I mean, Andy, you could speak to this. It just doesn't look like very much security.
Let me before we do that, let me jump to John Miller to talk to us right now about what exactly is going on inside that building. John?
So right now, the president would be going through the garage into the freight elevator. He will be going with his Secret Service detail, which has him under protection. But there's going to be a moment certain, and it could be in that elevator, or it could be up in the U.S. Marshal's office, where he's going to be approached by the two FBI agents who are technically arresting him on all these charges in the name of the U.S. government. And at that point, the Secret Service takes a step back because he is no longer their protectee, in a sense. He is in the custody of the FBI until such time a federal magistrate, at the end of this arraignment, and it's entirely likely that they will, say you're free to go, and these are the following conditions, which are probably just going to be that you have to return to court. In between, he will be fingerprinted with the electronic scan, and those prints will be run against the records and entered in. We are told by Caitlin Collins that the procedure of taking a DNA swab from his mouth with a Q-tip, which is the procedure for all federal arrestees, is going to be skipped in this case. We're not sure why. A photograph of him will be uploaded into the system. It'll be an open source photograph. They're not going to take a formal mugshot because there are plenty of pictures of him available to put in that record. And then there'll be a brief holding time for the magistrate to get ready, and then he and his team will go to that courtroom where he'll be represented by his defense lawyers, enter that plea, and the rest will unfold on the record. What I described is the part that nobody is going to see. Also, no one will see in the courtroom because there are no cameras allowed, no recording devices, no telephones, but there will be reporters and sketch artists, and we will hear after the hearing what occurred.